Hi, everyone. For today's webinar, we will be looking at how to convert website visitors. This is a topic in our series on optimizing your website, our summer 2020 webinar series. And so today we're going to go through 4 ways that you can enhance your conversion rate on your website. So just to begin, hello, nice to meet you. My name is Jessie. I am the marketing director here at Cairo Hosting, and I will be your presenter for today. So let's start by defining conversion. So what is a conversion? A conversion is when someone submits information on a form, on your website, or landing page. So this means that person goes from an anonymous visitor to a known contact in your database. And it could be as simple as a newsletter sign up, a contact us to receive some more information about your practice, or it could be booking an appointment. So a conversion could cover a lot of things, but what we are discussing when we talk about conversions is essentially someone going from anonymous to giving you your information. A reconversion would be if someone does that again. So if someone's already in your database, say they signed up for your newsletter, and then they come back through and they fill out a form to book an appointment with you, that would be a reconversion. So what is your guess for the average conversion rate for websites in the United States? I'll give you a second to think about it. But this rate would be the number of visitors who come to your site, and it would be the percentage of those visitors who actually fill out the form. So for example, say you had 100 visitors come to your website and 10 people filled out the form. It would be 10 divided by 100, which would be 10%. That would be your conversion rate. So the average conversion rate for websites is anywhere between 2 to 5%. And that conversion rate will vary by industry. If you're an e-commerce site, if you are a software site, a services site. So depending on what industry you're in, that rate will change. But this is just a general rule of thumb across all industries. 2 to 5% is the average conversion rate. And then the conversion rate will also change based on the source. So if someone comes in from a social media ad to your website, or they come in from organic search, the conversion rate will be slightly different for each one. And it's going to be different for every business. But the average rate is 2 to 5%. So with that number in mind, you always want to be performing a little bit better than 2%, for sure. That should be your baseline or your target. So let's start talking about those 4 ways I mentioned earlier to increase your conversion rates on your website. One is to use pop-up forms. And I'm sure you've all seen a pop-up form before. They come out, they slide out, they do different things, which we'll go through right now, like the different types of pop-up forms. So a pop-up form is a little bit different than your standard form, which is just static. It's there, you go to a page and you might have a contact us form that just lives on that page. Pop-up forms, we're gonna go through 4 different examples of what those could look like. The first one is a welcome mat. So this one is the most obtrusive. It basically will take up your whole screen and you'll have to exit it out with a little X in the corner or clicking away from it. These ones can be the most annoying if you're browsing around on a site and a pop-up form comes up and you can't do anything else until you exit out that form. But this is the welcome mat style. That's probably the most memorable, but also the most annoying. Overlay model, a little less intrusive. It might not be your first page visit, but it's also going to pop up and take over the content of the screen until you have to exit it out. It's like a tinier welcome mat that you can use on different pages. The third one is the top banner. Top banners are nice. They just kind of slide down or slide over, and they don't take up too much real estate. A visitor can still browse your page, but they do offer a chance to get their attention and to prompt a conversion rate, or prompt a higher conversion rate. So that's top banner. And for the last one, we have a slide in box, and these can slide in at the bottom from the left or the right. And these ones are nice as well because they're not as intrusive as the first two. You know, between top banner and slide in box, these are the ones we would recommend using more often if you're going to use a pop-up form. But I'm sure you've come across some of these pop-up forms in the past as you browse the web yourself. But there's just a little bit of an overview on the types of pop-up forms that you might see and that you might use in your own marketing. So with that said, if you remember, the average conversion rate for websites is 2 to 5%. What do you think the average conversion rate is for top performing pop-up forms? I'll give you another second. 9.3%. So if you can implement a pop-up form that is a top performer, then you will have a higher conversion rate than the average conversion rate just by using that form. But the form needs to be a successful form. So we're going to go through a couple tips to help you with making that pop-up form, if you choose to use it, successful. So here are 3 tips. With that pop-up form, you don't want to be annoying. So in the examples that we looked at just a couple slides ago with the different layouts, like welcome mat and the first two, the welcome mat and the other one that kind of pop up and they block your view and your access of the site. They're very intrusive, they're very annoying, and they could really turn people off. If you're going to use one of those, you want to make sure the offer is exceptional. It better be something really worthwhile, and you don't want to use them too often. And it's all about the context too. So as you're creating these pop-up forms on different pages, you need to make sure the offer of the form meets the context of the page. For example, if you have a services page and you're talking about adjustments, like how the general benefits of chiropractic adjustments or something, you link to an article, someone's on that page, they're reading it. A pop-up form that would be a good one for that page would be an offer for a free adjustment or a $29.99 adjustment for your first adjustment. It's relevant, it's with the context of the page, it's going to convert better. But if your offer is for something else, say it was for, who knows, like a free book or a guide that you wrote, it's probably not going to convert as well. So just make sure you keep in mind the context of the page. And then when you put your pop-up form on that page, it should be related. And the final one is to keep it simple. You don't need a lot of different fields for pop-up forms. We recommend just email for the most part, or email and phone number. Definitely no more than 4 fields, but trying to keep it to 1 or 2, and then also keeping the text short and the call to action clear will help you convert better. So the second way of the 4 that we can look to increase our website conversion rate is through adding a chat feature to our websites. So we use chat here at Cairo Hosting, and you can see it in the screenshot here at the bottom right corner. How can I help you? It's a chat bot, so it is automated. It has a few steps where they could fill it out, and this bot is through HubSpot. But this runs 24/7. So even when we aren't here, our chatbot is working for us. And there are a lot of different companies that offer live chat features. Chat that includes chat that is staffed by a person, like your receptionist or yourself, if you have time, or just chat bots that can collect information. And they are a great way to allow another channel for people to go from an anonymous visitor to providing their information on your site. So we recommend them, and they work. So in a study by Live Chat, they found that the website chat conversion rate, the average one was, I'm going to give you a second to think about this one. What's your guess? Yeah, it was 7.28%, which again is significantly higher than the average conversion rate on most websites, which is 2 to 5%. So by implementing a live chat feature, that's an easy way to boost your conversion rate. And another really interesting statistic about chat is that these people inbounding through your chat are more likely to convert into customers. In fact, they are almost 6 times more likely to become a customer than someone else who inbounded through a different form. And the reason for this is probably because they're the most interested. If they're filling out a chat and if they're trying to get in touch with you, then that means they are a very hot lead. They're someone who is very interested in getting in touch with you sooner than later. So it's another great thing about chats. And then just to make sure you're having a successful chat, we have 3 tips for a successful chat. 1, ask for the email address early. Don't wait until the end. So if it's your receptionist and it's staffed by a person, or if it's an AI chat flow, just make sure that early on you're asking for the email address, because without that, you won't be able to follow up with the person. They will remain anonymous. The second one is to make the chat available 24/7. So this would involve probably having a little bit of an AI or a chat bot, not just a human person. But for the third one, when a person is available, if you do have a receptionist, then we do recommend trying to staff the chat with a person. It's just a little bit more personal than an AI chatbot. So those are 3 tips for implementing a successful chat on your website. So the third way that you could increase your conversion rate today is to run a promotion. And this one seems pretty obvious, but we don't see many chiropractors actually run promotions that regularly or promote them in a way that would drive traffic to your website and convert them. So there's this quote here by Andrew Shute, CEO of Elevated Web Marketing. He says, we recently ran a campaign for one of our chiropractic clinics, giving away a free chiropractic adjustment, our highly valuable offer. As a result, we generated 21 new leads in only 7 days. When you give value out to your audience, you'll get value back in return. And what he's saying here is actually really true, and it's really insightful information. If you're going to run a promotion, you want to make sure that it's the right promotion. So this promotion needs to add value. It needs to be the right one to get your clients or your potential clients and patients interested and get them willing to give out their information to get something back in return. So when you're selecting the right promotion, you need to ask yourself, does it provide enough value without costing you too much? So maybe it's a free adjustment, or maybe you can't do that because the numbers don't add up. Maybe it's just a discounted rate. Instead of your normal rate, maybe it's half of that. But you need to select something that will be a valuable offer that someone can say, hey, yeah, I give my information for that. It's, a significant savings, not just something that's like $5 off, a very high ticket item. So keep that in mind. And then the next thing that you need to do with your promotions is to set your goal. The whole reason you are running your promotion is you're trying to achieve something. So what are you trying to achieve? You really need to define that before you go into the promotion. Maybe you're trying to get new patients. Maybe your goal is to get 10 new patients in the month of September. So you want to run a promotion that will get people to join your practice. And so you need to think about what that would look like. If you're trying to get new patients, maybe it's your first appointment free or a discounted rate on your first appointment. Your promotion needs to match the objectives of your goal. And say the month of September, say that was your promotional idea, that you wanted to get 10 new clients in September, 10 new patients. And you run this promotion for a free first appointment for the month of September. At the end of September, you want to measure your results. How many new patients did you get as a result of this promotion? And so with that said, the promotion should have its own landing page, its own forms. And so you know if someone came in through that promotion versus something else. So just make sure you keep that promotion separate so you're able to measure the results. And then you can determine if the promotion achieved what you set it out to do. So did you get 10 patients? Did you exceed that and get 25 patients? Or did you only get 2 new patients? You'll be able to take that information and tweak your promotions moving forward. So the fourth and final way that you can increase conversions on your website today is to start a newsletter. A newsletter is a great way to do a few things. It's a great way to collect email addresses. So someone might not want to sign up for an adjustment yet. They may not be ready. They may have something else going on, but they may be interested in signing up for a newsletter. It's a little bit of a lower ask than asking them to come on in and book an appointment. So it's a good way to collect people's email addresses through offering them something that has some value, but it's not the big ask just yet. It's also a good way to stay in touch, not only with like your current patients, but also community members, potential patients, old patients. Just a nice way to keep in touch with your community and your patient base. And finally, it's a valuable tool to help you warm up leads. As we mentioned, you might be able to get people's email addresses earlier on. They might sign up for a newsletter, but they may not be ready for chiropractic or to book an appointment with your practice in particular. It's a good way to give them information about your practice, to let them know you are the practice for them. And it's also a good way to just help them with knowledge and information, providing valuable content and resources. So if you have blogs or different articles to studies about chiropractic, these type of things can be included in your newsletter. So when you do set out to do a newsletter, you need to pick a cadence that works for you and try to stick to it. So quarterly, monthly, or weekly is what we would recommend. We wouldn't recommend as frequently as daily or as little as like every year. We'd recommend somewhere in between the weekly to quarterly cadence. And you just need to decide what works for you. Maybe you love to write. You've got time and you've got a routine that would allow you to do weekly. Maybe you don't. Maybe monthly would be the right fit for you. And then maybe you're just super busy and quarterly is the most suited to your schedule and your lifestyle. You have to figure out the cadence that would work for you. And then once you do, set that cadence and stick to it. The other thing that's really going to help you with your newsletter to make it more successful is to standardize the newsletter format early. You want to standardize the format because it's going to allow you a few things. It's going to allow you more flexibility to work on the content and the different things that go into the newsletter and selecting those, and it's going to save you a lot of time. So if you have a standard format where every newsletter is going to include like a blog, a testimonial, and maybe a link to an article about chiropractic, whatever it might be, develop that format and try to keep it. And yeah, sometimes maybe there won't be a blog or there won't be a testimonial. You can just remove that one until the next newsletter goes out. But just having that standard format and template, we recommend a standard HTML template as well, will just help your newsletter be more successful. And then definitely in your template, you want to add the ways to forward to a friend and to share. And hopefully people enjoy your newsletter enough where they share it with their friends, families, and colleagues, and you'll get more subscribers, which would be great. So that is the fourth and final reason. And then just before we close up today, if you are interested in a website or website services, we do have a great chiropractic website, the Innate Chiropractic website. We've been helping chiropractors for over 20 years. So if you are interested in learning more about that, there's a product sheet. You can download that product sheet by clicking on the link at the end of this video. And yeah, we appreciate your time and we hope you found this useful. So thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any questions in particular about anything that you saw in this webinar or anything else that's online marketing or website related, please feel free to reach out to us at support@chirohosting.com. Thank you.